All right, so they can give it to you as a pattern. They can give it to you as a sequence. They can also give it to you as a table. Now, generally, a table is really just a pattern and a sequence put in a table, because you'll notice we put this in a table anyway. We can take this and put it in a table. You can take this and put it in a table. So we've really been doing tables the whole time, but I'm going to go ahead and just, go over another example. So for example, what is happening each time? So case one, so the first term is when n is 1. How many boxes do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The second case, how many boxes do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The third case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, now I need to fill out case number 4. All right, I can tell from the pattern how this is growing. So I can see this one in here, can't I? Like that one is this one, right? So I took the first one, it's in here, and then what did I do to it? Looks like I added a box everywhere on the top and side of every box, which means if I take this one and put it in here, so this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes. All right, 5 boxes, and it looks like this. So this next one is this whole one is in here. What did I do again? I put a box next to and on top of every other box. So I would expect in case 4, I would repeat case 3. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 boxes on the bottom. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, then I start 1 in and I go all the way across, but leave it 1 in. Then I go 1 in again, all the way across. Then this one on the one. So I've copied down this one. So knowing the pattern, it's telling me that what I need to do is you take what it is before and you add the box on the side, on the top, on the top, on the top, on the top. Okay, then on the side, and I'll do it from here, on the side, on the side, on the side, on the side. So those are my new boxes. So this would be my old one. So this right here would be my old boxes. Okay, and these are going to be my new ones, right? And that's the pattern that I'm seeing. But I don't have time to draw up to case 50. Like, nobody has time for that. So how many boxes does that have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 25 boxes, right? But I don't have time to be sitting here and counting it, which is why once you've identified the pattern, it's really important that you figure out the equation. Now let's make sure, first of all, that it's a quadratic equation. So we're going to check, how is my x changing each time? I add 1. So far so good. But my second difference also has to be constant. How do I get from 4 to 9? I add 5. 9 to 16. I get 7. 16 to 25, I add 9. And again, if you can't do that in your head, you're doing 9 minus 4 is 5. 16 minus 9 is 7. 25 minus 16 is 9. And then now let's check this. From 5 to 7, I add 2. From 7 to 9, I add 2. So I can see that it's a constant difference, right? Which means it's a quadratic. That means I'm going to square it and do something to it. Okay, so when I'm trying to figure this out, I'm going to square it and do something to it. All right, so my first term is 4, and so I'm getting my values from a table. My second term is 9. My third term is 16. My fourth term is 25. My fifth term I don't know. My sixth term I don't know. Okay, what's my relationship? So we always start with the term, and I'm going to do something. We're going to square it. So I'm going to check what happens when I square it. So my terms, I'm just squaring my terms here. That gives me 1. That gives me 4. That gives me 9, 16. 25 and 36, and now I'm trying to identify, well, how would I jump from here to 4? So I would need to add 3 here. I would need to add 5 here. It had to add 9 to 16, 7 here. I would need to add 9. Okay, so now looking at these numbers, do they have any kind of relationship in terms of the terms? That one's times 3. I don't see any relationship, but I can see that they're adding 2, but how would I write an equation on that? So here's what I'm going to say. If you can't figure it out, at this point, we're going to put it in the calculator. So I can't figure out like, okay, so I know I square it, right? But then I don't know like, if I square it and add n, that's not going to work. 3 times n, it's not going to work on the second one because 3 times 2 is 6, not 5. So I can't kind of figure out what this is. So if I can't figure it out, we are going to put it in a calculator. And so these will be the instructions. If you're doing an online calculator, if you're doing a handheld, it will be different. All right, so we're going to actually switch over to a calculator.
We're just going to follow the instructions verbatim on how to put in the calculator. Go to desmos.com/practice, graphing calculator, choose assessment. You're going to choose Georgia, and then start practice every single time. So go ahead and type that in. So desmos.com/practice. Please make sure you type this in every single time so you can get used to the calculator one again. Choose assessment, Georgia, high school graphing calculator, start practice. Now that we're here, it says top left-hand corner, choose the plus sign. So go ahead and then table. Boom. Input your X and Y values. So here's my X values. So it's 1, enter 2, enter 3, enter 4, enter. All right, then input my Y values. So this is my Y values right there. So it's 4, enter 9, enter 16, enter 25, enter. All right, once I've done that, on the bottom left, click the plus sign, the magnifying glass rather, to fit your points. And then click the keypad to input this formula right here. So click the keypad and then start typing the formula. So Y, to get the sub 1, you go ABC, this A sub B, so ABC, A sub B, and then 1, 2, 3, the number 1. To get the squiggly line, it looks like it's ABC squiggly line, so ABC squiggly line. To then the letter A, then the letter X. To get the sub 1, it's ABC, A sub B, so boom, and then 1, 2, 3, the number 1. And don't forget to put the squared value over there. To put the squared value, it's right here. All right, then it says plus BX, and then sub 1 again. So A sub 1 is always going to be ABC, this button right here, sub 1, and then plus C. Now be careful because you see if I do plus C right there, it's still on the bottom. So you got to click out of that and go plus C. All right, perfect. Once you have that out, this is your quadratic equation. So the answer is A equals B equals and C equals is your quadratic equations. Once you have your quadratic equation, you can go ahead and type it in. So remember, it goes Y equals ABX squared. So it goes, sorry, AX squared. So A is 1, X shift 6 squared. And I'm just typing A is 1. I'm just typing in this with the numbers. So where A is, I put in 1, B, 2, C, 1. So that plus B is 2X, and then plus C is just 1. So this is my quadratic equation. So I can get from a table, I can write a quadratic equation, and you can see it fits perfectly on those points. So if I do this, you can see what my quadratic looks like. All right, so that's my quadratic equation. Now, I want to find my fifth term. So from our previous notes, once I have this, I can make a table. And all you have to do is click the settings wheel, and you see what the options over here appear. And you're going to click table. Now that gives me that same quadratic in a table. And I'm looking for the number 5. So if the number 5 isn't listed, I just come right here and I type in the number 5. It'll give me the number. Okay, so that's 36. So 36 would be right here. The number 6, and I go ahead and type that in, 49. All right, go ahead and write in my equation. So my equation is, and because this is in nth terms, when I write it instead of x, I'm going to write n. So it's n squared plus 2n plus 1. Okay, so that's my equation that's going to work every time. And I can check it because I can put the number 2 in. So if I put the number 2 in, I'll get the number 9. So if I put 2 in, I'll get 9, which is true. Okay, so the calculator is checking that for me. So the question is, what's the 13th term? So I just type it in. It's the 13th time, 196. Okay, so you put 13 squared plus 2 times 13 plus 1 is 196. What's the 18th term? Type that in, 361. What's the 250th term? Type that in, 250th term, 63,000, I'm sorry, and 1. Okay, And that's just how simple it is. So if you can't figure out the pattern, go ahead and put it in the calculator if all else fails and get the equation. Once you get the equation, whatever term they ask you for, you can find it. All right, and it's the same thing from coordinates, okay? So the exact same thing when you have coordinates. When you have coordinates, you can go ahead and create a table. So my x value is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So my x value from coordinates is always the first number. The second number is y. So it goes 3, 8, 15, 24, 35. So 3, 8, 15, 24, and 35. Okay. And just like before, you're going to find that pattern. So if I'm going to take the number, so I'm going to take the first one, the first term, square it, second term, square it, third term, square it, fourth term, square it, fifth term, square it. So I'm going to first try and do it by hand. And if I can't figure it out by hand, then of course I'm going to go ahead and use what? The calculator. So I'm going to get 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. And I'm trying to get to this number 3. So here I would add 2. To get to 4, I would add, to get to 8, I'm sorry, I would add 4. To get to 9, I would add 6. To get to 4 squared. To get to 24, I would add 8. To get to 25, to get to 35, I'd add 10. And I can see the pattern is increasing each time by 2, right? And so the question is like, how do I write that out? So I've got n squared. So my formula is n squared. And then I'm going to add, and it looks like, isn't it 2 times n? So let me check that. It's 2 times 2, 4. Yep, it's 2 times 3, 6. Yes, it's 2 times 4, 8. Yes, it's 2 times 5, 10. Yeah, so that actually works. So my formula is 2n. But remember, if you're having a hard time fixing that or finding out what that is, then you could always put it in the calculator. So I'm going to kind of use my table here and cheat so I don't have to redo this whole thing again. So it goes 1. So I'm just inputting my table just like before. I'm inputting this table into my calculator. So it goes 1, it goes 3, and then 8, and then 15, and then 24, and then the next number is 35, and this one's 5. All right, so I get 1, A is 1, B is 2, and C is so significantly low, it's close to 0. Okay, so if I come in and change my table here, I'll get, so A is 1, B is 2, and C is very close to significantly 0. All right, so same formula that I get from the calculator. And if I have to find, again, let's say the 50th term, you come and punch it in here, 50, and you get 2,600. Or you can put it in here. So you go 50, where n is 50 squared plus 2 times 50. And you can stick that into the calculator real quick. So you go 50 squared, so you go 50, shift 6 squared plus 2 times 50. And you can see you get the same number, 2,600. So if you can't figure out that pattern or how to get that pattern, you could always input it into the calculator, guys. And that's it. So let's practice.